careful and responsible, right? Like if you know the kid's doing something like if you see the kid like taking a fork to a wall socket, like, hey, don't do that, right?
You gotta give them
or find out, right? Don't do that either, right? So you've taken, you've addressed your responsibility of the thing that whatever's under your care, right? And you feel like you've kind of done your job, right?
Well, like you would feel bad even if it wasn't your kid because they trusted you with their child, and not all kids, depending on the age, they don't understand consequences all the time. So they're gonna do it. Even though you tell them no, they don't always understand that it's actually going to happen.
And that's another perspective I like. You know, like somebody deemed you worthy and responsible enough to do something, and you kind of failed. So like, since we don't give a damn about kids and siblings, like what if you were watching someone's dog? Okay, you're dog watching, and you open the door a little carelessly. Fido goes running out the front door. He gets onto the road. Right? You wouldn't like that, but like if it was your sibling, if it was somebody else's child, you weren't worried. So you wouldn't like it. Why not? What's different?
Because it's an animal. It's a dog. It's not.
So is a cow, man. You just said earlier you don't care if the cow. It's a pet.
Like
it's a pet. That's what you're saying.
There's 8 billion people in this world. We don't need. We have too many.
Oh man, genocidal maniac over here. Holy. Okay, we have too many people apparently.
Why? I'll be praying for you.
No, but actually, like, let's say you're responsible for someone's pet, right? You're pet watching, pet sitting, whatever they call it, right? And something happens, okay? Like,
okay, for a pet, they actually, you wouldn't understand. Like, if you like to tell a human not to do something, they kind of would stop. Sometimes they cannot. But like, if it's a pet and you tell them not to do something, sometimes they cannot listen.
But that's not part of the story.
What?
Thank you, Matt. You're changing the story, right?
What was the question?
Well, let's say the pet is under your care. Okay, so let's say the owner of the dog tells you, like, hey, like, don't feed it this, this, or this. Like, the dog loves eating food from you, right? And one day you forget that, like, oh, they can't eat chocolate, right? Dogs can't eat chocolate. I'm pretty sure it's poisonous for them, right? And, like, you know, one day you show up with a chocolate, and you know, the dog looks so cute, it's begging you, like, oh, here, have a piece of chocolate, have another piece of chocolate. And then you're like, hey, you want to go for a walk? And the dog's like, not really. Like, and just dies, right? And then you're like, wait, whoa, wake up, man. Like, you know, like when you hurt your sibling and they're crying, you're like, hey, stop crying. Like, mom and dad are about to get home, right? Now you're shaking the dog, like, hey, man, like, it's not funny anymore. Like, get up. And then you go back to the list and you read, like, what was that? Oh my God, I was supposed to be a chocolate, right? Now you already knew that. You were told, right? Like, how do you think your religious or spiritual beliefs, your beliefs about other animals, other things on earth impact how you might feel about that, right? Would you feel guilty? Of course you would. You'd start praying. And what would you pray for?
Revive this dog.
Maybe you pray for forgiveness, right? Okay, let's hear from these two. This should be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how, like, easily a dog could die to chocolate, because our pug has eaten so much, like a bag of pure chocolate. Like we sit on the counter, and this dog is smart. It knows how to push chairs to jump onto a table to get. It's like intelligent. And we left the bag on this like table, and it somehow jumped. I don't know how it got up there. It's like 2 feet tall.
Pull up your table's 2 feet.
Or I don't know.
So the dog ate a bunch of chocolate and just
like,
died.
No, it didn't. Like she has eaten so much chocolate. Like she'll like somehow get it. I don't even know how she gets it, and she still is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with her. So I don't know what's happening.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Pray.
Yeah. Did you pray?
No,
Yeah, everyone.
I don't.
Well, you might get not that paycheck.
And I'll get that dog sitting paycheck.
Dog dies on my watch. Boo, sad. And also the amount of chocolate for it to be lethal to a dog is like its body weight.
How do you know that?
He's tried it. He's
Google
trapped
tells
his
me
dog in a box.
Double.
How do you know to Google?
You can just Google how much.
Common knowledge that dogs
It's not
get
common
sick
knowledge.
with enough chocolate, but lethal is like its entire body weight.
I feel like if you ate your body weight in chocolate, you'd feel pretty bad as well.
Yeah.
Fair play to the dogs. Okay. Hey, so like, what about those people who don't believe in God, don't have religion? Like, do you think they just go around the world destroying things?
No.
Why not?
Because they still have morals and
Because they're human.
responsibilities.
They still have morals.
And it's like what they believe to be like.
They have
always
responsibility.
have to have a religion.
Right? They might still have a code of conduct, like, hey, this is right, this is wrong. What is going on there? I'm not even gonna talk about it. What's up? You had your hand up. Okay, I was just gonna say, please don't ask to go to the bathroom. Like, we want to hear what you have to contribute to this class, not just.
say something. I forgot.
Okay, think about it. Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like some, like they would still not, because it doesn't necessarily like matter on your religion or your beliefs. You're still just not gonna try to break everything or destroy it because you still have feelings for it. But I feel like most would just continue destroying and polluting our planet because that's just what we're good at. That's just what people do.
Well, that's not just what people do.
Or what most do. We're not really good
Okay,
at
but like
that.
you're part of that then. Like you can't be like, well, it's everyone else but me.
Yeah.
Wow, right?
We're not really good at
Look at all the pollution you're
sustaining
creating right now.
ecosystems.
Okay. We're not sustaining these things, right? Like
'Cause I feel
maybe
like-
we've forgotten that we're probably one of the only species that can actually like, you know, like no other animal in the jungle cares that some like random tree frog is about to go extinct.
But
Right.
like,
They probably don't even know they exist.
most of us, or like people in general, I feel like we kind of just care more about our benefits more than animals. Like we feel like we are just superior in most cases. And we can,
So where do you think that comes from then? Just a general question. Like what?
because we're
No way you blamed your own people.
Well, because they came here and it was all like, it wasn't like super peaceful, but like they started taking the resources and using it and not putting it back up and down.
Yeah.
And they're using too much. And they're
So
very,
like
they're
how
very,
how people acted in the world, for sure.
because like we are just lazy. You know, we don't want to do all this.
We, man. I'm out here putting in
Say
12,
we.
14-hour shifts, pal.
No, what I'm saying.
Talking about lazy.
Speaking for
What
the
I'm
people.
saying is like, look at this. We have all these buildings and technology. We're just trying to advance, so we have to do less work.
It's like those guys that
Okay.
post Instagram
Speaks for the
reels,
trees.
it's like, you wanna make $5,000 a week.
What?
It's like we have a whiteboard.
So let me read you something from the Bible, just cause like. Okay, this is Genesis verse 26, book 1, 26. No way I'm reading the Bible on camera, man. This is crazy. Then God said, "Let us make humankind in our image." This is to help you understand the point you made there, right? Let us make humankind in our image according to our likeness, and let them have dominion. What does dominion mean?
Like power.
Kind of power and control to some extent, but it'd be worth doing a whole like definition, right? Because Google is going to give you one definition, and Merriam-Webster is going to give you more context to the definition. Okay, let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the wild animals of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. Right. So again, it's a bit of that hierarchy. You have things in the water, you have things in the air, right? The heavens and the ground, then you have things on earth, and then you have those things that crawl. We don't really like those things that crawl, right? Like imagine you're all cozy in bed. You're like, oh man, someone's tickling me. And you like look at your arm, there's a centipede there. Nightmare fuel. Okay?
Spider.
So God created humankind in his image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. Controversial. God blessed them, and God said to them, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. God said, see, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit, you shall have them for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life, I have given every green plant for food. And it was so. Right? So God's saying, I've given this to you. Okay? God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. Okay? And then I don't know where he tells them exactly, like, hey, it's your responsibility. Okay, forget that part. Okay, so once you kind of read that, you start to understand, like, okay, if you're running around with this and it tells you that, hey, we have dominion over all these things, like, how would that impact you? You might think you're better than them, right? You might forget that it's still your responsibility to take care of them. But sometimes when you take care of them, like, maybe you don't do a good job. Maybe you're not taking care of them in the best of their interest, but in the best of your interest, right? So like we said, we don't really care about, the only reason we care about that dead cow is like, oh man, I'm not making any more money, right? And not necessarily caring as much about the life of that creature. The way I pulled the Bible out, half of you went to sleep. What's up? You're gonna ask to leave the classroom. Yeah. Drink? All right, go quick. Leave the door open. Did you remember what you're gonna say? You remember, but then you forgot it. What's up? Yeah, go ahead. I'm pointing to you.
Yeah, what?
Do you remember what you were gonna say?
Oh. I can't remember. It was like religion or